After spending so much time in Georgia and sponsoring dogs to get them safely adopted out on the East Coast, I felt very strongly about going there to meet some of the adopters and the rescue groups that were taking them in. I didn't feel like my journey could be complete without seeing the whole picture. We went from Georgia, headed to the East Coast. This time we also got to take a couple of dogs with us on the road, so we were transporters, and that was quite the adventure.
This is what we're doing today.
Transporting doggies to Pennsylvania.
Huckleberry.
Huckleberry from the Dublin shelter and this sweet pup that was being sold on the street, which is just ridiculous. So she landed in the wrong hands.
This one was being sold right on the street.
She's a female blue pit. You don't want those in the wrong hands.
Our first stop was Pennsylvania. We got to visit with the ladies of a Darrah Bully Rescue.
We pulled a lot of dogs at a time from New York, and they would drive them like halfway to State College, and I would go to State College and pick them up and bring them back to Roaring Spring. We don't have a facility, we don't have a kennel. People just take the dogs into their home, treat them like they're their own dogs until we can find permanent homes for them.
Tell us why you're drawn to volunteering for a pit bull rescue, versus any other. There's so many.
Probably just fighting for the underdog, because people do have that misconception about them. You couldn't ask for a more loving, loyal, friendly, cuddly dog. We usually save anywhere from 125 to probably 170 dogs a year. We get a lot of dogs moving through.
1, 2, 3. All right.
Petey and Raina were about 8 months old when I got a call from a veterinary office in Georgia, and the receptionist, she said, "We have these 2 sibling puppies, very sweet. They were dropped off for boarding while their dad went to the hospital, and it looks like he won't be able to care for them anymore. So the family has called and said we could do whatever we want with them." Veterinary offices can't be dumping grounds for people who don't want their pets anymore. So my wheels started spinning, and I knew I had to help Petey and Raina. This reunion was really, really special.
My name is Kayla, and I'm from New York, and I rescued my dog Raina from Georgia.
Tell me what you think about the rescue situation as you see it in New York. How many dogs are in need for homes?
So many, especially pit bulls, actually. There were so many that day, so many pit bulls there.
What does the love of Raina mean to you?
It means everything. She's a big part of my life. I took her to the vet, actually, when I first got her, and she had an infection in her tail that we didn't know about. And when I did take her there, she was so afraid of the vet, I think from her prior history. So that was like a really emotional event. And it was hard to get her to just kind of get used to things like that. But it took a lot of work, and now she's just the most lovable animal ever.
The steps I usually took to save these kinds of cases in Georgia was to find a trusted foster. Then I would solicit a reputable and safe rescue organization, offering them sponsorship for the dogs and letting them know I had a safe foster in place. And these are the 2 things that all volunteer rescue organizations seem to need all over the country: funding and a place to have the dog safely housed while they find the right home, the right adopter.
So Petey is a rescue dog, right? Mm-hmm. And you tell us how you came across the opportunity to adopt him or where he was from.
So one night my family was sitting in the living room and we were looking on Facebook and we saw this picture of this dog. He was super cute, and we were like, wait, if he doesn't get adopted by Friday, they're sending him back to Georgia. And so we were kind of like, no, that's not gonna happen. So the next day we called up the place and said, can we bring our other dog to meet him? And they were fine together, and so we took him home that day.
How does it make you feel to see him reunite with Raina today?
Oh my gosh, it was so cute. I didn't think I would get a dog off Facebook. I didn't think that at all, but here we are, and we're very happy that we did.
What I most love about these reunions is meeting people who understand why this type of compassion is important and necessary in today's world.
You excited? Say thank you for the doggy.
Oh, no, thank you.
Hi, I'm Renee from New Jersey, and we just rescued a pit from Georgia.
Have you been aware of the rescue problem or the need to rescue and save pit bulls in the United States?
We have a few friends that rescue pit bulls as well. The friend we found, Phoenix Through, is actually, we didn't even know he was rescuing and was fostering. We didn't know until we saw his post asking if anyone wanted a dog. So we were really happy when we saw her, and we actually have other friends that rescue them too.
Oh, so it was through social media?
Yes, through social media. Everybody wants a puppy. You know, everybody wants a puppy because they want them as babies, but really it's like the ones that are a little older that need the homes.
Yeah.
You know, and the ones that are, they're, to be honest, I feel like the ones that are adopted are like more grateful. I feel like most people know that pit bulls are good dogs. They know.
I'm Sharon, so glad to meet you. And this is Bojo. We rescued him from Georgia about a year and a half ago, be 2 years in February. The vet had him on medication and things like that for his wounds because he was a bait dog for dog fights down in Georgia.
What did you know, if anything, about bait dogs before you adopted him?
I knew nothing. And when I heard that about him, of course, I started Googling to see, you know, what that situation is. I mean, you hear about stories on national level with celebrities that, you know, were involved in things. I'm not going to say who. And I feel so much for those dogs and the suffering that they go through. No dog should have to go through that.
You think social media helps give a voice to these dogs or helps people rescue more dogs?
Absolutely. And the communication network. I'm in Georgia, I need somebody in New York, I need people in between to help get him there. And people, you know, just respond back and say, well, I'm in New Jersey, I'll take him for the first leg of the trip. And it's just amazing how many people that you would never have known about are, you know, feel the same way you do.
From Georgia to New Jersey. I just got the email and the pictures. She arrived safely in transport.
They are amazing people. They start out on Friday night. They go up the East Coast from Georgia, and we meet them at the Vince Lombardi rest stop. We know we've gotten a call saying that there's a dog on board. It needs to go to Husky House, or it needs to go such and such a place, and we will meet them, meet the dog, and then we take that dog to the next location.
You brought Simba to Husky House.
I brought Simba to Husky House.
So you now have become a volunteer for the rescue?
Become a volunteer, yeah, because they needed people. They just needed help, and we just, my husband and I just couldn't stand by and see them not get the help they needed. The mistake that a lot of my friends who say they want to breed is that they don't realize that a breed can be adopted. I mean, you can go online and find Shelties, or you can find pure Pomeranians or whatever that are up for adoption, and you don't need to buy. And I'm constantly, when I have a friend saying, oh, I want a pure breed, I say, go to Husky House if you want a husky. They're purebred huskies here.
We're not a shelter, we're a rescue, so we try to match the right dog with the right person. We see what characteristics they're looking for in a dog, if the person seems to be active, or if they're more of a stay-at-home type person, if they have small children or older children that aren't at home anymore, and then we'll try to match them with the correct dog. The owner of Husky House has a soft spot for dogs that nobody else wants. It's hard because a lot of people drop off their dogs here, and the dogs get crazy when the owners leave them.
Yeah.
And people just walk away, and I don't get that.
This is my dog, Squirrel. She's a husky. She was a rescue from Husky House, and she originally was in a pet store in Staten Island.
What do you think we could say to younger generations about animals and animal care?
If the kids are exposed to dogs, and if they're encouraged to maybe volunteer or in any way, because there's all sorts of jobs you can do which are needed.
Seeing the work of Husky House New Jersey made me very curious about other rescue organizations, especially what was going on next door in the state of New York. I cold called and emailed a couple of the rescues that I was following on social media. I was very moved by the work that I was seeing on their pages. They very graciously opened their doors and shared their mission and message with us.
We focus on the critically injured. We take mostly abuse and neglect cases across the country, and most of the dogs that we take require extensive medical care. You know, we take a lot of dogs that are hit by cars, neglect, dogs chained for years and years, and they all require vetting, and we really never, it's never a second thought. Our dogs get amazing vet care.
A lot of people think like, oh, you know, shelters are this great place where you just, all the strays can go and they'll find great homes and that they're taken care of. And unfortunately, there's more dogs than the ability for these shelters to care for them properly, house them properly.
It's no spay and no neutering. It's just like the abundance of dogs that we have in this country. It can run from dogs that have severely embedded collars, which means they're wearing a collar from puppyhood until adulthood, and that same collar has never been changed. And it just kind of, the dog grows, but the collar doesn't grow with the dog. I mean, it really comes from the home. You know, it comes from education. It comes from parents who need to teach their children about kindness and humility and to how to, you know, treat living beings.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Brooks, president and founder of Second Chance Rescue, New York City, in Whitestone, New York. I got my own dog when I was 21 years old from a shelter, and I heard about the pit bull problem, that there was overpopulation of pit bulls. I went to a rescue, I adopted a pit bull, and that's basically how it started. Yeah, rescue is a 24-hour full-time job, so it's great to have other volunteers, you know, taking the phones and taking care of the rescue when I am teaching my classes. Every little thing helps. You know, it takes so many resources to pull an animal from a shelter, get it to a vet it, get it to a foster home. You know, there's a lot of just transporting. You know, if you have a Saturday morning free and you could drive a dog 10 miles or 15 miles, that's a huge help.
And you take on medical cases too, big medical cases, right? I've seen.
Yeah.
Like in a boarding situation, you can't tell. This is Eddie Milo. He's from Texas. We suspect he was hit by a car because he's paralyzed from the waist down. We partner with Dallas Dog RRR there, and they help us get the dogs from Texas, start their recovery there, and then bring them up to New York, where we take over. So Eddie has been going to Water for Dogs in the city to help him regain use of his back legs, with the hopes of that he'll be able to walk independently.
And then at that point, you would maybe feel comfortable making him adoptable.
Exactly.
But he's always safe here with you guys and can stay as long as he needs.
Absolutely.
My name is Barbara Dennehy. I'm the New York Director for Companion Animal Protection Society. We are the only national organization that does legislation and investigation into puppy mills. We have investigators, we go out, we do pet shops and puppy mill investigation, where the dogs come from that are being sold in the pet shops and what actually goes on at the puppy mills. And most of them come from the Midwest. The inspections show that they come from Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas mostly.
So that's what they made their job, really.
That
to
is their
exploit.
job. Back in the 1900s, I think it was post-World War II, and it was kind of depression, and the government said to the farmers, because they weren't making a lot of money, well, start breeding dogs. And that's these farmers who had no idea of husbandry practices with canines, etc., started breeding dogs, keeping them in chicken coops, and just forcing them to breed and produce puppies, and then they would sell the puppies on the side of the road.
Yeah, it's hard to take. It's hard to understand how people can treat them like they're objects, like it's just a money-making
Cash
machine.
crop. That's all they are, is a cash crop. It's so hard to believe that the people that can make a big change, which is our Congress people, can't see that this is an easy fix. They just, it's almost that they're afraid of the backlash from the farm industry because dogs are still considered livestock.
What is the right way to address it or say this is what needs to change?
Well, what needs to change is the proof is there. The OIG reports, the Office of the Inspector General, everything is there. The proof is there. The pictures are there. The videos are there. It's just a matter of getting a few congressmen to say enough is enough. And this is the way things have to change. People can make a difference by getting involved politically. They have to educate themselves on what a puppy mill is, what commercial breeding is. Then they can engage their congressman, their local senator, their statespeople, legislators, and tell them that this is wrong and that something has to be done to change this.
I'm Victoria, I'm 10 years old. I'm from New York and I started Lucy's Legacy and Hope for Animals. So Lucy was a dog that we rescued. We didn't realize she was sick and she passed away. But I felt like I should also help animals because of what happened to Lucy. I sell bracelets and I donate the money. So we donate to the Kramer Foundation, Search Dog Foundation, Long Island Against Domestic Violence. Usually we donate to some place that needs the funds and usually they have something to do with animals. So Long Island Against Domestic Violence was building a shelter next to their shelter so that the women who came could bring their dogs.
Oh, that's neat. So the women who are victims of domestic violence and had to live in this shelter could have their dogs next door.
Or any companion animal, because 44% of women wouldn't leave a situation because of their animals.
Tell me about some of the ways that you help other kids find out about the need to help animals and to find out about animal rescue and why it's so important.
Well, I made a humane education video and I showed them to kids on Long Island, which has how animals should be treated, that they need, food, love, they need proper vetting, grooming, they need water, that they basically need the same needs as humans do. I hope that I can maybe kind of grow my charity, have more people volunteer, go to more charity events, donate to more people, sell some more bracelets. Maybe, we take it one step at a time, New York, then move on to maybe a national level. But if you think about it, it's not just America, it's the whole world.
The name of our organization is Moose Lodge Senior Pet Sanctuary, which is named after one of our dogs who passed recently, just before the pandemic.
Basically, it's the concept of no dog left behind. All senior pets, especially dogs, need a place to live where they know they're secure and they're happy and they're taken care of, and they can live out their days in comfort of a loving community.
So since our founding in 2009, we've been able to save close to 13,000 animals. So one of the dogs that we've rescued that really embodies the work that we do is a dog named Lonnie. Lonnie was found out in the fields in Georgia by animal control. When the officer approached, he saw the horrific condition that Lonnie was in. His ears were missing, chopped off. He had bite wounds all over his body, and he had been out for some time because there were maggots in the bite wounds. We had Lonnie rushed to one of our emergency hospitals for critical care, and he stayed for weeks.
while they healed his wounds. He was the sweetest guy. He became a staff favorite at the hospital, and after many weeks and nearly months, he was able to come to New York, where he found his forever home, and his family absolutely adores him.
Since we last spoke, my efforts in animal rescue and advocacy have expanded considerably. I am currently 16 and in my senior year of high school, and I have completed several animal-related projects. The first being that I donated pet oxygen masks to first responders all over New York, should the need arise. I also completed a project called ACE, or Animal Care Emergency Directive for Animals, which involved handing out kits to whomever requested them, that required all the necessary materials to get in touch with an emergency contact of an owner's choosing, should the owner require medical care. I also donated 170 slip leads to all the patrol cars in Suffolk County when it became clear that police officers did not have them even when they needed them.
This is Huckleberry, and he is one of the 2 pups that we transported from Georgia to Pennsylvania. He was with a Darrah Bully Rescue for all of 24 hours before we turned around and said, can we apply to adopt him? There are many dogs out there like Huckleberry in every city and every state in this country, and we hope we can inspire people to go find their Huckleberry. I love you.
When I don't know where to go, and I don't know where to turn to, I know at least that I got you. And when I'm feeling sad and lonely, and I need someone to hold me, I know at least that I got you. When life doesn't turn out like I planned, then I need someone who understands what I'm going through. It takes a lot to keep up our defenses, broken hearts, white picket fences, and days gone by. But when there's nothing left to do, it's right then that I think of you. When I don't know where to go,